Alright guys, welcome back to the channel once again, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Google Cloud. So recently I've been working with a company and then I was setting up the Google Cloud for them. So actually we were migrating AWS architecture to the Google Cloud and then migrating all the services, databases, load balancer and everything, whatever they have running into the AWS, all the things we were migrating into the Google Cloud as it is and then creating new infrastructure over there. It's been a quite good experience and like working with that and like gaining a lot of information about the Google Cloud, because mostly I've been working only to the compute engine, cloud buckets and all, not like digging deeper into setting up all these things. But this time like we have deployed a full-fledged scalable application on the Google Cloud, and then it's kind of I hold all those information what actually required to deploy a big scalable application over there. So I'm gonna be creating the videos on that and then I'm gonna be putting all the information over here. So we're gonna be talking about like actually we have used the Cloud SQL BigQuery for the databases because there are like a lot of data in the events format, so we have to like keep it into somewhere where we have to query faster. So the Cloud SQL is an operational databases like where you cannot query the data faster if it goes in the large scale. So you need something like NoSQL databases or these kind of like data warehouses where you can query the data if you have millions of rows or like more than that, billions of rows. Data warehouses works very well like ClickHouse, BigQuery and Redshift, many more, Snowflake and all. So I'm going to be talking about BigQuery and then slowly we're going to be digging deeper into the Google Cloud and looking more things into that. Okay, so let's look at the screen. Let's see how BigQuery works. So I'm going to be explaining you about the data set, how we can create the data set and all those things, and then we're going to be moving towards access and all those things in the Google Cloud. Okay, let's look at the screen. Alright guys, so we have this like Google Cloud console open over here. So I'm on the BigQuery page where you can see all these 4 tabs over here. So it's like it shows the preview, and here you're going to see all the data sets, and here you're going to see some more options over here about the BigQuery. Okay, so all these, so mostly we have to look at it over here. If you don't have the data set created, you have to create, first you have to create a project, like in which project you're going to be having the data set. So we already have this project created over here, but if you want to create more projects, so you can click on this model and you can create new project and then you can work into that. So it's like whatever the project you are working on, so you can create one project in the Google Cloud and then you can start creating services inside that project. Okay, so it's gonna be giving you billing according to the project name. Okay, so we have this project inside the, if I open the project, so I have all this data set listed. The best thing over here for using the data warehouses, you can keep the data set according to the users. It's like every user gonna be having their own data into their data set. You don't have to all the data into the same data, like same database for each and every user, and then you query by like their ID or something. You can create the separate data set into the BigQuery and then you can just query the data from only that data set. So there's not gonna be problem of like fetching by ID or something. You don't have to pass it because that data only relate to that user. So it's kind of that you can just keep the user information into the operational database, and from there you can keep the information of his data set as well, and then from there you can just call the data set and then get the data out, simple like that, whatever the tables inside. So if I open this table data set, so I have like many tables. So the BigQuery works same as the MySQL or PostgreSQL because we run the SQL queries over here. Some of your keywords are not allowed in the BigQuery, like because it's kind of like it's a strict type. There's no dynamic type over here. Like if the table is defined in type, you cannot query by a string. But into the MySQL, PostgreSQL, even if you have a number type or a string type or array type, and if you try to put a string over there or try to put number over there, it automatically takes it and converts it and all those things. It manages it by itself, so it doesn't throw you error. But into the BigQuery, if the dataset type is like whatever is defined over here, so let's suppose in this table, if the dataset type is defined over here, all these types, so make sure you query by the type of that like column. And if you change the type of the column, so let's suppose this is a string, and if you try to put the number over here and then try to fetch it, it doesn't gonna work because it's gonna throw you the type case error. So it's really strict type because that's how it defines the like it's fast, because if it started making it optional, so it's gonna take a lot of time to query the data, and that's why data warehouses are so fast, because whatever you define, so indexing is done already by default, so that just it will be easier to query from these data warehouses. This is the data set, and then if you want to create new data set over here, so you just have to go 3 dots over here, create data set, and you get this option, and you can just put the ID, like whatever the ID, hello my data set. Okay, like that. Data location you have to put, so you want to keep a single location, multiple location. I would always suggest like keep it in the multiple locations, so it's kind of like it's good to have it, so it can be into the multiple regions of that location. But if you keep only in the single location, let's suppose you select any of these over here, so you're going to be finding only in one location. It's like that. But here you can have into the multiple locations, so when you connect the subnet or like you define the region, so you can easily define it, and your BigQuery will, like your data set will easily accessible over there in that location. Is kind of that. So European Union and US, so 2 locations over here. Otherwise you have multiple single location as well. Okay, so you can just select one, and after that you can, if you want to define the tags are really important, because some places you have to define the tags of fetch the services. So if you want to define something tags over here, otherwise it's optional, you don't have to. Options, like if you want to keep the encryption and all, so you can keep by default Google encryption. Otherwise you can provide the cloud KMS key, and then you have to select the KMS key from here if you want to. So I'm just going to be selecting Google manage encryption, and after that default collation, all those things, so just keep it default case sensitive, and case insensitive is like that, you want to keep it, so that's also works. It's like all the description is also written what is the meaning of that. It's up to you, whatever the settings you want to choose, and you can just create the data set. Okay, and once you create the data set, you go to data set, and then over here you're going to be finding, if you want to create the table, so you can just click on this and then start creating the table and start adding the fields inside of that. Also, if you want to import the data from outside, so there are multiple options to do that. So you can import the tables from outside. You can go to data transfer over here, and then you can create the transfer. So like I have already created the transfer, like data transfer, like you can transfer the data from your operational database like MySQL, PostgreSQL to your like one of the data set. Like you can change the data set, like once you already created it, so you can just go and edit, like you have multiple data sets, so you can just keep adding the destination all the time. So this is your source, and then destination, you can just keep adding the destination over here, like changing the destination, and then after saving it, and then run that, and then run over here, like run transfer now, simple, and it will start migrating data. It's very easy, and it's very fast as well for migration. Like it takes like few minutes to migrate, 5 to 10 minutes, like for the 100 million rows, and I've been migrating a lot, like more than 100 million rows I've been migrating. It's just 5 minutes or 6 minutes, not more than that. So that's how you can migrate the data from the operational databases. And then you can go back to Studio, and if you want to run the query inside the databases, let's suppose I select this one, and I can just go over here. I don't have a table right now, so I cannot select the table. Let's create one table. Let's suppose I put the table name user over here, and then I can add the field like ID and define the type of ID like integer. Okay, and then I put the type name, so name is like name. I can keep a string and then create the table. So my table is going to be created over here. Just refresh and then created table. You're going to see user table, and after that I go inside, so I'm going to be seeing all those columns over here, ID and name, and I can just query as well. Just put a star over here like this, and then query. So I can query, and then there's no data, so I can just do that. All the commands are same, like SQL, like insert command, update command, or like create command, and all those things, like create tables, everything is same. It's just like it's a typecasting, so that's the only problem. So if you have written the queries like into your like MySQL database or PostgreSQL databases, so maybe you have to modify a bit, and then you have to use it. So make sure to that when you migrate. But it's really fast, like it takes a millisecond to query the data from the data warehouses. So I've been using a lot, and I'm kind of really, and it's also cheaper as well. Like it's in comparison to operational databases, it's very cheap. So request as well, like per request they don't charge you too much, and after that storing data is also cheaper, so it's like very good. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to show. Now how you can access the data set in the code side, that I'm going to be explaining you in the next video, because we're going to be writing some code for like using it, and mostly the BigQuery is defined for like using for machine learning, because you can read the data from here for machine learning and all, and train the models, and then you can analyze the data into that. So mostly people use BigQuery for that. Like also people use Snowflake and Redshift as well. So Redshift is a AWS service, Snowflake is a different service. People use that as a data warehouses to train the models for machine learning, because it's query faster, and you can just put it into your data frames, and then you can just train the models. It's like that. So that's it. And so you can go to service account for each, and like you can create service account for each and every service if you want to access it like on your code side, and then you can copy the keys from here and then put it in somewhere like secret, and then try to access it with that. Because if you try to access with the one service account to all the services, so maybe there's gonna be security problem if that key gonna be leaked. So it's gonna be like that can be accessible to all the services. So better you should keep separate secret service accounts for each and every service, so that, and then you should just connect with that. So like I have the GitHub Action service account, is like for pushing the code from GitHub to artifact registry. That's I'm going to be also explaining how I did did it. And after that, like we have Cloud SQL service account, so which can access only the Cloud SQL databases, like not other than that. And also same like we have BigQuery service account, so only can access to the BigQuery service, like creating the data, updating data, and all those things. If I go inside of it, so you're gonna see the permissions and roles defined into that, like what are the permissions and what are the roles. So if we go over here in the permissions, so we should see the permissions over here, manage access. Okay, we have to go to manage access, and then we're gonna see the permissions over here. What are the permissions? I can change it too, but you see I have the BigQuery admin and BigQuery data transfer service, so two services defined. I can change this to lower version as well, like BigQuery editor or something. You can search over here BigQuery, and then you're gonna see all the services related, permissions related to BigQuery. So it's like that. Okay, so I think that's you guys would have understood a bit. So you can just create a service account, and then you can go to the keys, and after that keys you can just, let's suppose I have created these keys, so you can just download these keys. After creating, you get an option to download, and once you download it, so the key is gonna be active until unless you like delete from here. And if you lost the key, so you have to just delete these keys from here, previous one, and then add new key, just like that. So yeah, this is it. So you can create new key, create key from here, JSON, and then create it, and after that you're gonna get the option to download, and you can download it, just like that. Okay, and you can assign the principal, and you can create the service account from here. Like you can just go to service account, create service account, and then put some name in it, and then after that just create continue, and then you're gonna get the option to add the roles, and then you can add the roles, and then easy peasy that your service account gonna be accessible. It's like same like roles and permissions into the AWS, same over here. Yeah, and there's also service account over there. So same over here, you can create the service account, and then service account gonna be working as a IAM role. Okay, that's it. I think that's it from this video, and I'm gonna be see you guys in the next video, and we're gonna be talking more about this, and then we're gonna be doing some changes on the code side, and we're gonna be looking at the service called Cloud Run, and we're gonna be looking at load balancers and Cloud SQL as well. The Cloud SQL is a bit tricky over here. You cannot directly connect with your local environment Cloud SQL, so it's like, it's not like you just copy the IP and then you have the password, and after that you put the username database and then you connect it. No, it's not gonna work. You have to actually define your host name, like for which network you want to access it. So you have to define the IP address or the like address of that location, and then you can access it. Also there are some like infrastructure things like Cloud NAT, like NAT gateway, and the subnets and all those we also going to be talking about, because some are Cloud NAT and then like internal access and internal IP addresses. So how those things work, how to connect the services, like full-fledged like microservice architecture, how we do it. So I'm going to be doing it into the Cloud Run, and I'm going to be explaining you guys all, and then show you over here like right on the screen so you can understand. So I hope you guys understood from this video. The BigQuery is like very straightforward. You just have to create the data set inside the project, and then you start using it. After creating the service account, just assign the role, whatever role you want to choose, and then just start using it. Okay, so thank you so much guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then.